In this first episode of Filtron Views, I'm talking to drummer-producer Harvey Wirht. We first met back in 1994 in Boston, where we got to play together in many different bands, including the first edition of my own group. This continued throughout the last 20 years in New York, touring and playing together in many different groups and projects. He's been participating with Filtron since 2013 and will be on the upcoming album Transitnet. In this episode, we talk about his home country, Suriname, and the cultural and musical influences before coming to the United States. Where you come from, that's a place that I'm sure a lot of people don't know that much about.
Suriname is a really interesting place where, I would say it's the most diverse country in definitely South America and the Caribbean. And it was really interesting growing up in Suriname, first because of the different cultures. And second, interesting thing about it is that everybody kept their language from where they're coming from. Like the Indians, they still speak a Hindi, but it's called Suriname Hindi. The Chinese, they have the Chinese language, they speak Chinese. And of course, all the cultures, they speak Dutch and Surinamese. You have the Japanese, who still speak their original language from wherever region they come from in Indonesia, and most of them are from Java.
What is the common language that everybody speaks? Is that Suriname?
Common language started as really Surinamese. We would communicate in Surinamese. When I grew up, actually, for example, when there was an official announcement on radio or TV, they had to broadcast it in all the language, from native Indian to the blacks, the interior dialects, to Japanese, Indian, and then again in Surinamese and in Dutch, which is the official language. But English we just got from TV, like the American programs and movies.
It's not an official.
Yeah. Never had like translations. I grew up as a kid watching cartoons in English, American cartoons. Yeah. And Suriname when I grew up, was referred to as Negro English, because Suriname is basically English-based, like Jamaican. Not much of Dutch, but some Dutch influence, and influence from all the colonizers we had. A couple of words that are derived from French, from German, So, but it's mostly English. It's English-based language.
You were telling me once, like you would, or when we were in India, some songs you would hear there that you heard them back home.
Exactly. There are two places where I've been which I felt like, hey, I'm home. It's funny,
Right.
In India, Bali, and of course some places in Africa. Yeah, Uganda. I felt like I was home. From the interior to the people, and their food, their tradition. And then India, I felt like I've been there because I got so familiar with the Indian culture, the food, the music. And then Bali was the same thing. You see, the Japanese culture, so similar to home,
Music that is considered traditional Surinamese music, like the kawina.
Two types, the kawina, the kasiko.
Where did they come from? They're African, or they're Indonesian, or they're...
Well, they're definitely African. The kawina and the kasiko are definitely African.
African roots, right?
Can consider Afro-Surinamese music. When you say Surinamese music, you have to also include the other cultures, like the Indians, the Japanese. The Indians have a style that is similar to India, I don't know how much it differs, but really similar to what they have in India. And then the Japanese had like a lot of, I think they call it kronchong music. And they also had like this tradition, the jarang kepang, where they play they had angklung and the xylophones and all that sort of stuff, which I also saw in Bali,
Kawina, you also had an example that you posted by Big Jones with the Quattro too, right?
Yeah. So Kawina, it's basically like African stuff, and most of us in Suriname came from Ghana, and we kept a lot of those deep traditions. There's like so many. There are a couple of tribes in Suriname. So in somehow they all came together with the different, because when you say Kawina, in different places they have different styles. But in the city, refer to as it as one word, like the letters would say, this is Latin music, or this is salsa music, as Kawina. And the Caseco is more like a city type of style that is developed in the city, coming from all those African inventions. Electric bass, electric guitar, drum set.
So you must have played a lot then Caseco music. You played more Caseco music?
Oh yeah, Caseco, yeah, is more the Kawina is really like traditional roots. To be honest, in Suriname, I haven't done much of the Kawina stuff. Listen to it a lot, trying to incorporate some rhythms on the drums, the Kawina rhythms, influenced by, my favorite drummers, Surinamese drummers like Eddie Feldman, who I've been influenced by the most. Also, Kramer, who played with Frafra Sound, that is Holland based. Yeah, we were all trying since then to trying to incorporate the Kawina, which was more like an interior rhythm, into the modern kind of music, from the Caseco to the fusion to the jazz.
With what you played with Fafa Son is a lot of Caseco music.
Proper Sound is basically an Afro-Caribbean band that also has a lot of West African influence in their music.
Right.
So it's like a mix of all those rhythms. Suriname, Afro-Caribbean, West African.
Yeah, this is such a unique way of absorbing music and culture. That's why you have such a original, unique way of playing as well, in my opinion.
Thanks. Besides all the local influences, on the radio you had music from Brazil, you had music from the Caribbean, we had music from, even Greece, Nana Mouskouri was popular in Suriname. We had music from Europe and a lot of American music. So all those influences. And on top of that, when I think it's still like that, a musician in Suriname, like a general band, you gotta be able to play all these styles. You gotta be able to play pop music, traditional music, the Caseco. You gotta be able to play Caribbean music. You gotta be able to play Brazilian. It's like
trading ground,
Yes. Also, on top of that, every morning I was listening to this program where they had like 15 minutes of different cultures, like 15 minutes of Brazilian music, 15 minutes of music from Trinidad. And right after that, it was time to go to school. So I would listen to Brazilian music, 15 minutes. And then exactly after that, it was time to just go to school. And the next day, it was like, 15 minutes of Calypso,
That's incredible.
So all these influences, it's like...
Were you aware of that the uniqueness when you came to the States, that was unusual, especially when you came to Berkeley? I mean, I know there were other people, like Daniel Day was there, and other people coming with you from Suriname. Was Etienne at Berkeley too? No?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was at Berkeley
He
too?
graduated before I got there.
Right. So before my time too.
Yeah, but yes, when I came to the US, I realized, the first compliment I got at my audition, because you still have to audition when you get to Berkeley, teachers kept saying, man, you have a great feel. But I wasn't familiar with the term. Feel was touch, But then later I I learned that feel is like it's like the feel for the music or the groove,
Right.
And then I realized that it comes from playing so many different styles. That's where it comes from. And like a lot of Surinamese have feel for like playing any type of music, just because of the influence.
Yeah.